moment you've been waiting for. It's the Bairnsdale MMA Podcast.
Yo,
Hey mate, how you going?
here we go. Good, how you doing?
Yeah, good man. First one ever, so
First podcast.
good to be a part of, man. Good to be a part of. Thanks for having me. Bit nervous, but yeah,
Don't be nervous.
I know.
It's all good.
But
You like-
good to be here, man. It's been a little while
Thanks for coming.
getting it up and running, so
Yeah, it's taken forever.
yeah, man. It's
Supposed
good.
to happen a long time ago, but
I think the whole world's slowing down, if not paused at the moment. So yeah, man.
yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I have questions for you.
Righto, let's go.
All right.
Yep, straight in.
Don't feel too formal. Just
Yep.
I'm going to ask you guys, all my students, questions on this podcast series. That's what we're going to do.
Yep.
I want to pick your brains about some things, get your opinions, and just get to know you a bit better and have some fun.
Awesome, man.
So,
No, looking forward to it.
right. My first question for you is, what made you want to do martial arts? Just in general, what made you go, you know what, I want to train martial arts?
I guess for me, I wanted something independent from work, wife, kids, mortgage, that life. So I just wanted something independent of that was kind of mine, that I could focus on. I think a little bit of disconnection from that stuff makes me a better husband and father. And probably the second thing was for all the reasons I just mentioned, but also the health benefits. So
Okay.
good conditioning. It's just good to keep the body ticking over. So
You're not keen just to sort of go to a fitness gym and do it that way?
I've done a bit of that stuff in the past. Like I had a gym set up and I've done weights on and off and
Yep.
bits of cardio. I guess the reason that I walked into your gym is that like we moved to Bairnsdale just under 2 years ago. My wife got a pretty good opportunity with work and we'd always talked about dipping the toe in the water about the country life and see what it was like.
Nice.
Without delving into that too much, we came down to Bairnsdale. So I was working part-time at the time and I was only doing 5 days a fortnight. And
Yeah, right. Yep.
you know me, I'm a pretty
Yep.
social guy.
Absolutely.
Did not know one single, never lived, worked here before, got no family here. So I didn't know one
Yep.
single person. And my wife was working pretty hard when we first landed. So I don't even know. I'm kind of embarrassed when I say this. But anyway, I woke up one Thursday morning and I was obviously doing the school run with the kids and all that sort of stuff. And I realised Wednesday night I'd just had a couple of quiet beers.
Yep.
And I'd had like 6 nights in a row I drunk beers and I'd had about 12 beers. Just on a Wednesday night, middle of the week.
Right, as you do. No.
But I'm having I'm working 5 days a fortnight. So I've got a lot of rest day and stuff.
yeah.
And,
A lot of downtime.
yeah, and then I kind of went, I'm going to wake up 12 months and I need to do something. So I was actually thinking about playing footy, but footy's just hard on the body when you get older. So I was literally at Woolies and walked past and saw the MMA sign with the mobile and went, oh, is that a crack? That'd be good. You
Wow.
know? And then obviously I don't know if you remember the very first conversation
I
we
do,
had
actually.
was just about,
Yeah, I do.
I don't want to be rolling up, because I didn't know much about martial arts.
Yeah,
'cause I've
yeah.
never done it before. So it was like, I don't want to be rolling up to work with black eyes. I can't be popping shoulders. I can't be doing knees.
I remember. Yeah.
I'm an earner.
Yep.
So and you were like, no, it's all good. Just come in, dip the toe in the water and check it out.
Yep.
Best
And
thing,
has that played out that way?
best thing I did.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Oh, look, I get a little bit of soreness,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, you go to the gym and lift weights, you get soreness.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean it's not good for you. It doesn't mean that's,
Yep.
So, yeah, probably neck, probably just, sore necks, bits and bobs every now and then. But I haven't been injured, touch wood, so I'm pretty careful with that. But best thing I ever did. So,
Yep.
that was how I started.
So-
and at 40, I think I was 40 when I started. Maybe I just turned 41.
Yeah.
Never done martial arts in my life. So
Yeah.
enjoying it.
You're killing it, man.
Enjoying it. Really
Doing
enjoying
well
it.
too.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Cool.
So that's sort of how I came to be about. So, and literally, had I found like a veterans league that played every second Sunday, I might have ended up in that or something. But
yeah.
footy's pretty hard on the body, and as you get older, you can't be.
Yeah. I've always said you take bigger impacts playing football than you do martial arts.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, you got the momentum of two people running up and clashing.
Yep.
When does that happen in a fight?
Yep.
When you have that.
Yep.
It's unless you fly kick somebody, I guess.
Yeah, and I think as you get older too, like sort of once you get north of 30, you kind of, it's very hard on hamstrings, very hard on calves and stuff like that. So
Young man's game.
yeah, and then you're just sore for days, so you get around. I mean, not just getting around the office and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
but I'm really enjoying jiu-jitsu. Really enjoying it. So that's
I was
at the
going
risk
to
of
ask
being
if
too
jiu-jitsu
long-winded.
was your first choice of martial arts, but
Yeah,
and is it because of the sort of gentle nature?
yeah, and I like the technicality of it, and
Oh,
I
okay,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
I like the concept of a smaller opponent being able to submit a bigger opponent through technicality. So I guess being north of 40 and not the fittest bloke up running around, although, jiu-jitsu's helped that, and we'll probably get into that a bit. When I'm coming up against a 25-year-old dude that's fit as a fiddle, and if I'm technically better and I've been doing it longer, I know I can submit him.
Yeah.
Just the way that when I first joined, very, very humbling experience, getting tapped by 18-year-olds.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
know.
definitely.
So that's what I enjoy, the technicality of it.
Yep.
So just the little things about a grip and a collar and how much there is to just grip and a collar.
Yeah,
And,
I know.
right?
It's
and
crazy.
so you
That's
just
the inches of difference.
yeah. And so the layers of it, and then the few times I've had the chance to roll with some brown belts and black belts that have come down to the gym, and like they are just
Magicians.
so many layers above. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the other thing too, I guess, is that's for me, that's like, even though I'm looking 10, 15 years into the future,
Yeah.
that's what I want to get to. That's what that's the amount of knowledge I want in my head, albeit you got to stack it in there. slowly.
Absolutely doable though.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's people in their 80s and 90s.
Yep.
Getting graded.
Yep.
Still.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think if you're training the right way, it's certainly something you can do.
It's all
Until
about
you
training the right way
Yep.
for your age.
Yep.
Definitely.
Yep.
Yeah. For
So-
sure. I'm pretty careful about it now. I mean, I'm 38.
Yep.
I'm about to hit that 40, and
Yeah. And you're a lot more experienced than me, and I think I've
but I'm a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So when I got Seth land on me compared to land on you,
Yeah.
it feels way
Yep.
worse.
Yep.
So, that being said, how much weight have you lost since you started training at the gym?
I'm probably we're 18 months in, and coronavirus certainly hasn't helped me.
No.
But probably somewhere between sort of 5 and 6, not as much as what I would have thought. But having said that, in fairness, jiu-jitsu, like, you can't train your way out of a bad diet.
Yeah.
And so, that's
Yeah.
diet's
so
probably
true.
the reason that I haven't lost. I certainly feel like it's a completely different level of, it's a different type of fitness. I was rolling with a guy that came down, and I'm not sure he stayed, but he came down once or twice, and we were rolling. He was a pretty fit dude, and once he got on the ground and 5 minutes in, he was gassed, and I wasn't. And I was really proud of that, because it was, he goes,
Because you would have done that at the start.
oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And
you can
he's
see
like-
that progress. Now you're not that guy anymore, and you
Yeah.
can see that other guy. Yeah.
But this is going back to the art of jiu-jitsu and
Yep.
what I like about it, because
Yes.
you got to time your run. You got to wait for your moment.
Patience.
Yep.
Relax.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so short explosive bursts, and in between
Yep.
that you catch, and then if you're on the bottom, you got to work your ass off. But when you get on top, you can have a little bit of and then just put your knee into their belly.
Enough to maintain control.
Yeah.
Yep.
And make them.
Yeah, I mean, anyone that walks into a jiu-jitsu class and does it for the first time, they're going to use all energy.
Yep.
They're all going to be like, I don't want to be on my back with
Yep.
somebody on top of me. It's the worst feeling.
Yep.
So, naturally you just freak out.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
try and push people.
The guys that are more experienced guys, they can take their weight at 80, 90 kilos, make it feel like 3 ton.
Yeah, right.
Like they can just
Isn't that crazy?
just one knee in your right
the
spot.
right spot. Yeah.
And when you, and I've said it to you before,
But it's more so where their body is, not necessarily just where their knee is.
yeah.
It's where
And
they
and also how hard you're trying to work to get out, rather than just going, oh, I'll just take a few breaths.
are. Yeah.
All these
That's
lessons
so
that you
true.
learn along the way,
Yeah.
But, and I'm embarrassed. Not embarrassed to say it now. I guess we're all on a journey with jiu-jitsu, but like tapping the pressure. Like first couple of months, and guys where they're just on top, and you just cannot get. You're gassed when you hit the deck, and then they go to knee on belly or something like that,
Yeah.
and you're just like, I can't do this anymore, and you just tap just to get out from under.
I can't wait for you
Never again will I tap to.
to go down to headquarters and get graded.
Yep,
I can't wait.
yep.
It's
So
going to be the best.
yeah, I mean, well, there's so much technicality to it that I just feel like there's so much more to learn. So
Yeah.
really enjoying it. So I can't even remember what the question was at the start of this conversation, but it's good. It's good.
It's good. Jiu-jitsu's good.
Yeah,
That's all that matters.
It's very humbling, very humbling. So
How would you describe jiu-jitsu to someone who's never done it before?
it's funny because a few of the boys at work, I've tried to sort of describe it to them. You know, I've heard a few people say things like the gentle art of folding a person's clothes while they're wearing them.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Yeah.
How would I describe jiu-jitsu? What's the question? How would I describe
To
jiu-jitsu?
someone who's never done it before. If somebody's never seen it, done it, and they come up to you and said, "What's jiu-jitsu? What's it like?"
It's like a really cool way to practice or train fighting a person without risking injury or soreness. It's probably...
Yep.
Yep.
That's a lot less risk of than
Yep.
getting punched in the face.
Yep. So
Yeah.
you take striking out and it does change a lot of things.
Yeah,
Changes
absolutely. Well, you look
distance
at
and-
most fights, street fights that do have striking. Where do they end up?
Oh.
On the ground, anyway. So
I think historically they end up on the ground. I think these days
yeah, pretty
it's
much.
bits changed in that space
Oh, yeah.
with mobile phones and stuff, but
Yeah,
we'll probably get into that a bit too. But yeah, probably just a great way to really test yourself and yeah. And then I'm not sure how I'd do it shortly, in a 10 or 15 seconds.
okay.
But, I do like the technicality of it. I do like the no striking. I do like that it's not really a test of strength. It's more of a test of knowledge and time almost,
yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yep.
So what makes you want to try our MMA class? Which you're going to plan on doing that,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Probably a little bit of an understanding of the fact that I can probably train striking and kicking without getting injured.
Yep.
Or being soreness, or the other thing is like head trauma. Like I don't want any sort of head trauma.
Yeah, of course.
That I can probably do it safely. And probably the other thing is, since starting jiu-jitsu, delving into, and I don't get to watch as much as what I'd like, but delving into UFC a little bit more.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And, if I could just get to a competent level of striker, combine it with a reasonable level of jiu-jitsu, you become pretty formidable to someone with no training.
Yeah, I think at least learn how to deal with strikes. Like I think it was Ben Askren, the wrestler, he's a phenomenal wrestler. He spent a long time at a training striking with Duke Rufus and these other guys.
Yep.
And from what I heard, he spent a lot of time just learning defense to striking and how to enforce his game on the ground.
Yep.
Not learning how to punch somebody.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that'll only go so far until you can't take someone down.
Yep.
But at least you have to be able to defend yourself.
Yep.
Standing.
Yep.
I mean, I always tell my students, I get students that come in all the time that just want to do striking. And I tell them, if you get really good at kickboxing, and you throw a kick, somebody grabs that kick, throws you to the ground, gives you a hard time on the ground, and you only just manage to get to your feet, you're going to throw another kick.
Yep.
And 100% of the time they're like, no.
Yep.
They're like, well, why did you learn to kickbox if you're not going to use it?
Yep.
So if you have the comfort of being on your back, at least the comfort of knowing that I know what I'm doing.
Yep.
I can protect myself on my back. You'll let your hands and your kicking or whatever you want to do go. That's more of a, I guess, an MMA situation as well.
Yep.
But it's just important to be well rounded.
Yep.
I mean, you're not always going to get your way. You're not always going to be able to just take the guy down.
Yep.
So.
And probably the other thing is logistically it works pretty good. Like obviously I try to get to the gym 3 nights a week, but with 2 young kids and stuff like that, sometimes gets hard. But if I can do 2 classes back to back, even if I only get there,
Absolutely.
If I get there 2 nights, I get 4 classes in.
Absolutely.
So, and I think the MMA is probably a little bit. We're probably going to do a bit more cardio and stuff too. So,
we're going to add an MMA fitness class.
Yep,
we'll do that. But we're going to compete a lot more in MMA now, and not focus so much on just kickboxing on its own.
Yep.
Yeah.
So probably those reasons. Probably and the other thing is that I think it'd be good to sort of
new challenge.
Yeah. And probably having never done martial arts before,
I reckon you'll love it.
A new sort of I'm starting to sort of dip my toe in the water.
Yeah.
Like if I was 16 and I'd just taken up martial arts, and I was 18 and I took up MMA, everyone would be like, well, that's kind of the natural progression.
Yeah, that's true.
I've just started a lot later, I think.
That's cool.
Yep.
I think that's fine. I think the fact that you've started with more of a mature head, as opposed to a younger dude just trying to, do everything, you'll learn things a lot quicker.
Yep.
But the fact that you've walked into an entire game, like you started with jiu-jitsu, of course, but you already, you're not far into your jiu-jitsu journey and you want to start doing some MMA.
Yep.
Whereas a lot of people spend 10 years doing taekwondo.
Yep.
And then go and try. It's habits.
Yep.
You need a break. You won't have that problem.
Yeah. So, probably just, So
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's probably the
wait.
thought process behind them. Yeah.
Yeah, there's safe ways to train it, man. Like I think that anyone that isn't looking to pursue a career of some form in combat sports, there is no point in sparring hard ever.
Yep.
Ever. There's no point.
Yep.
If you want to, do some amateur fights, at least, and turn professional eventually, then of course you have
Yep.
to, but if you're a guy who just wants to go to work and do this for fun and fitness and whatever, then don't spar hard, and that's where it comes down to having good training partners.
Yep.
Which I think we've got a pretty good team for that sort of thing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, for sure. Hopefully getting bigger.
Yeah.
But
South's definitely getting bigger. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be good.
So, yeah.
What? I know you said before you don't watch a lot of fights, but who do you enjoy watching?
Probably my favourite fighter at the moment, being pretty patriotic, Rob Whittaker. He's an Aussie.
Yeah.
So
he's a great fighter to watch.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
fan friendly.
And like,
He gets after
you
it.
know, if he starts, winning belts and all that sort of stuff, then that's just awesome because he's an Aussie. And
Yeah.
and he's got the
Well, he's our first champion.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now correct me if I'm saying he just lost his title recently. Or?
Yeah. To Israel. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the Southern Cross on the chest and stuff, it's just very cool. It's just very cool.
Good to see, isn't it?
And I'm so glad that he's not a Conor McGregor like, because then you'd be like, oh, I really want to get
I
behind.
know.
I really want to get behind him, but the guy,
I
he's
feel that
awesome.
way about Israel.
So, but
Kiwi fella. Great fighter, phenomenal fighter, but
yeah,
it's hard.
yeah. So, outside of Rob Whittaker, probably up until I started coming to your gym, I don't think I'd ever watched a UFC fight in my life. And
Yeah, wow.
I worked with guys historically that used to watch the the contenders and those shows.
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I got to get in the UFC. I was like,
Yeah. The Ultimate Fighter series, yeah.
all that sort of stuff. But I love watching GSP. I like the way he carried
Yeah.
himself in the gym. Like the way.
Absolute gentleman.
Yep.
Yeah. Good
Yep.
representative for the sport.
Yeah.
One
yeah.
of the best ever
Yep.
to do
Yep.
it. Him and Randy Couture are two of the best.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
probably really enjoy after listening to his podcast with Joe Rogan. I sort of got
Yeah.
a little bit more time from him again.
Yeah.
And probably
What?
Brock Lesnar. Yeah, man. I like the big guys, the heavyweights.
Yeah.
And I reckon that I don't think I've ever seen a guy that big move that fast.
Yeah, no, he dude can move,
Like,
no doubt. He's got like an extensive collegiate wrestling background as well.
yeah.
He's not just like a pro wrestler dude.
Yep.
The dude can wrestle, he can fight.
And like the cool link, big sword.
I'm not a fan of that, but
I mean,
each to their own.
yeah.
Cool.
I like that. I mean,
I just think the placement is like
I wouldn't
for what
get
it
it.
is, it's like a big sticker.
I wouldn't get it, but I reckon it's cool that someone would, So, I like someone that's a bit of a, what's the word I'm looking
I think if he did it earlier and got a real team behind him, not one that wasn't allowed to like punch him in the face in camp
Yep.
and things like that. Like if he was just a part of another team, he could have been amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, he just hated getting punched.
Yep.
Hated it.
And probably,
You can't fight in UFC and not get
Yeah.
punched in the face.
yeah, exactly right. And while we're talking about fighters, and we've talked extensively about, I'm not a big fan of political correctness, but I reckon Ronda Rousey that did so much for the sport.
Oh, of course.
And
Yeah.
now you look at women's UFC.
There would be no women's UFC if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey.
Yep.
And that's been stated many times by
Yep.
Dana.
Yep.
Like she changed his mind.
Yep.
And thank God she did.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because
Like-
I've got a 9-year-old daughter, and to know that there's a pathway for someone to go and learn to fight, and
Yeah.
protect themselves.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Good, jiu-jitsu and these things hold up.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So probably, and obviously she's pretty cute as well. But yeah, probably those fighters are the ones that.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Cool.
And probably a soft spot for Matt Hunt. I always liked watching him. I reckon
Oh, for
he's-
Mark Hunt, you mean?
sorry, Mark Hunt.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
The general.
Yeah. So
Miss watching him fight,
But,
man.
you know,
Knocking
it's-
people out.
good fighters are just good to watch, man. And every now, obviously they're just great fights, and then some are not as good as to watch as others. But
Yeah. You know, I was going to have an amazing fight.
I love. The thing
But
that
to be honest, GSP, in the end of his career, was like everyone gave him crap for being super boring and not finishing fights and whatever.
Yep.
I mean, he was super technical, obviously. He was dominant,
Yep.
for sure. But, yeah, I mean, it's not fan-friendly.
Yeah. I do like watching someone come from behind, like someone that's taken down,
Getting their
a
ass
bit of ground and
kicked.
pound, digs in,
You know,
digs in, and then comes back. Because I don't know if it's an Aussie thing or it's just we love underdogs.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for someone
Everyone
to-
loves a good underdog story,
Someone to
man.
come back is always good to watch.
For sure. The best fight for that I can think of off the top of my head is Matt Hughes versus Frank Trigg 2.
Yep.
You got to watch that fight.
Yep.
if that's what you like, man, that's your fight.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's
Cool.
amazing.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, I've got the Fight Pass app, but you just go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Because I'm catching up from so long. Like,
Dude,
I'm just
you're
like,
so lucky.
yeah.
I got that library over here.
Yep.
I've seen all that.
Yep.
And many times.
Yep.
You know, so
Yep.
been watching it for since 2000 regularly, like
Yep.
flat out about 2003.
But even now, like, I don't watch as much as what I'd like to watch, but I've got to, time becomes finite, so I just got to pick my marks.
Absolutely.
I'd rather train than watch fights.
I know what's going to happen. You're going to start this MMA class, and you're going to just geek out on MMA. I can see it.
Probably.
It's going to be awesome.
Probably. So,
You know, see, the thing is too with MMA, like there's so much to it. You don't have to train everything.
Yep.
You don't have to get great at head kicks.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You don't have to do all that stuff. Randy Couture, who I mentioned before, was what, 2-time light heavyweight champ, 2 or 3-time, maybe 3-time heavyweight champion. Like just,
Yep.
Yeah, unbelievable.
He's done a bit of acting, hasn't he?
Yep.
He's Expendables and
Yep. That's the guy.
he was in an episode of The Unit, which was a great show.
Yeah, he's such a dude too.
Yep.
He's awesome. Yeah, he never learned, like, towards the end of his career, he didn't bother even training kicks or anything. I learned how to defend them.
Yep.
But at that age especially, you've only got a certain amount of time.
Yep.
And he didn't want to spend that time learning stuff he wasn't going to use.
Yep.
You know, he was more of a boxer or wrestler with submissions.
Yep.
You know, so you could approach your MMA the same way.
Yeah, well,
That's all I'm saying.
We'll
You don't have
unpack that a
to.
bit
You don't
when we
have to
get
be
back.
a Muay Thai fighter.
Yep.
You know, you can work to your strengths. Absolutely, yeah.
yeah. So, no, I'm looking forward to it.
It's going to be good, man.
So, yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting. Like, you did the drills on the bag though, the ground and pound drills on the dummies.
Yeah.
You would. I could see it. I could see it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were loving it.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
It's gonna be cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, and I'm hoping that my little man Tom, he's hit me up for wrestling. We wrestle on the
that's
bed
awesome.
all the time, so he'll be coming along and hopefully gets a taste for it. But we'll see.
I will make it fun for him, man.
Yeah, we'll see.
Make him love it.
Yeah.
He will. Now, as far as your occupation goes,
Yep.
you can state your occupation if you like.
Yep. So I'm in the police force. Yep.
Yes. Jiu-jitsu and police.
Yeah, really good
Anyone
question.
would think that it would
Yep.
marry
Yep.
beautifully.
Yep.
I mean, obviously, the more you know,
Yep.
the more you know. So you
Yeah.
know,
So I'll probably preface with, I can't go too much into it, obviously, because I'm
Of course.
not, I'm sort of not authorised necessarily to speak on behalf of the organisation. But as far as jiu-jitsu and policing goes, the thing with policing is when we go to the gym, and I knew this question was coming, so I thought about the answer. Now it's not coming out as smooth as what I hoped.
it's all right,
If
man.
you train for a fight, you're looking to get someone that's roughly about the same weight as you.
Yep.
With roughly about the same skill set and experience as you, so you're engaged in some kind of fair combat. If, from a policing perspective, we're trying to, and when you talk about jiu-jitsu, obviously you're talking about combat and confrontation. If you're trying to arrest a person that's violent or got the potential to be violent,
Yep.
I'm not looking for a fair fight, and I'm not looking to get injured, and I'm not looking to put anyone at unnecessary risk. And probably take a step further is that we're actually accountable for our actions too. So, it's not like we can just do whatever we like, and we are accountable and things are looked at. So we're more about planning. So planning a safe way to make an arrest and using different things like verbal communication obviously is probably the best weapon that you'll ever have. And then probably just outnumbering that person completely so that they feel compelled to comply. And that comes across often on Facebook like bullying.
Yeah.
But the reality is that you're just trying to do it as safely as what you can.
Yep.
So, and then the other thing is that, a lot of the tactical options that we have, capsicum spray and these sort of things, they're better at distance. So we're not trying to go hands-on with someone.
Yeah.
So if you end up in a roll with someone, while we're talking about jiu-jitsu, if you're on the ground rolling around with something, things have gone wrong 5 steps back.
Yeah.
Or the situation has just escalated, it's something that was unforeseen, and then that's not to say that doesn't happen. And if you're a very accomplished jiu-jitsu practitioner, then that's going to come into play. But the other thing is that when you're on the ground with someone, if you're rolling around, like when we're talking about grabbing collars and cuffs and trying to transition from, get out of guard and get around and things like that, is we're carrying gear that can hurt us if it gets in the other people's hands. So we don't want to be just trying to get distance. So
yeah, that makes perfect sense.
it doesn't mesh as much as what people might
I know.
might think.
You would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I
so
guess
I'm not-
maybe in the States, they have a bit of a different situation.
the stuff that
more hands-on.
the stuff you're seeing on Facebook is, you know, like, I mean, I know there's a lot of dash cam and stuff like that, but you're talking about really isolated incidents. And the other thing too is that Australia and America are very different how we go.
That's
about
what I'm getting at.
We
Yeah.
we don't work alone. We always work in pairs. So a lot of that training around our tactics and stuff is about how to work as a pair.
Yeah.
You know. So and again, if you're going to go up against one person, you get 4 or 6 if you could. You know, whoever's around, and then you can sort of, you know. So, and the you know, the thing is too is that the climate's changed. I mean, I've done nearly 20 years, so even that time the climate's changed so much now that we get filmed more than
of course.
you know, and so some of the risks that we're sort of looking at work are things like, you know, going, you know, you don't want to go viral, you don't want to be a meme,
Yeah, of course
you know,
not.
But
Yeah.
people are allowed to film and you can't stop them.
Yeah.
You'll see with all the public order stuff going on in Melbourne at the moment, you'll see generally if they're trying to arrest a person that's resisting, you'll see somewhere between 2 and 4 coppers on one person.
Yeah, that's what I was going to...
But then you'll always see someone coming around and standing in front of the camera because people get sniped and things like that.
Right.
So
Yeah, because people that looks bad to people.
it does.
That, you know, you got four police officers grabbing one lady, taking her away.
Yeah.
But an absolute
the reality
safety.
is, like, if you've got 4 onto 1, the chances that one person's going to get injured is greatly reduced if it's 4 people.
Yep.
Some person worries about the arm, some person worries about this arm. And that's what people don't realise. And we are accountable, and so we need to do that on every occasion. The other thing too is that we don't want to get hurt. Like, it's our workplace.
Yeah, exactly.
So
You know,
I'm not looking to prove myself against.
What was that movie? Sorry to interrupt with that dude.
No, go.
Jake Gyllenhaal.
End of watch. Yep. So that sort of stuff does not happen.
Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah.
Where he's take the belt off. And
Man. But the reason I brought that up is like that is not potentially, but if you decide to go 1-on-1 with everyone you try to arrest or whatever, that could potentially not taking the year off, but it could be a conflict, a serious one with a serious injury because it's 1 versus 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's
So
like, it becomes a fight.
Never choose to go 1-on-1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like 1-on-1 becomes a fight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. And it's not what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so, you know, people say, oh, you know, it looks like you're being bullies. Well, it's not, you know, it's just about putting ourselves in a position of absolute advantage and trying to completely dominate a person so that they don't get injured, we don't get injured, no one else gets injured.
Job done.
And then, you know, some people just have to be arrested.
Yeah.
And then you could unpack that with coronavirus and all that, but we're not going to delve into that because I'm not touching that with a 40-foot pole. Yeah. So, yeah, jiu-jitsu and police, it's, I mean, you know, it crosses over a bit, but I don't think nearly as much.
Yeah.
So
not as much as you would imagine, I guess.
No. And someone, like, say, for example, someone applying for the police force, I wouldn't put them up there above anyone else just because they're a black belt.
Yeah.
It's not a skill that I'm after. I want someone that's thinking, someone that's empathetic, someone that's passionate about the job, someone that's got a good work ethic. You know, those sort of things are what they're after. Because everything else can get trained.
Yeah. So some hotshot karate guy.
Not to say that the sort of you know, the culture of jiu-jitsu is brilliant. And we're probably going to get into that a bit too. But you know, those sort of qualities from people that get to those high level belts are qualities that you'd want in a college.
Well, that's true.
In any, you know, it doesn't matter.
That's true.
You could be an insurance salesman. You'd want to work with some of those guys because they're awesome.
Absolutely.
You know, but
it does teach. Yeah.
Yep.
True.
Yep.
That is a good point.
So, as far as work goes, I don't really think it's particularly helped me at work. But what I have found at work is that I'm healthier. I feel better. You know?
Let's get into that. So, people always say, you know, the jiu-jitsu lifestyle.
Yep.
You know, and they think, I don't know what other people think, but I guess it really is about just bettering your life in general in every way possible. I mean, I know for me personally, when I started training jiu-jitsu and really getting into it, it changed a lot of my mentality.
Yep.
Like a lot. The way I looked at every problem was different, and how I approach every problem is different. And definitely, of course, you know, you can't roll and enjoy your entire class if you're not fit enough to do it.
Yep.
So you start to eat healthier.
Yep.
People quit smoking.
Yep.
This, that, all these things in order just to do their jiu-jitsu.
And commit yourself to learning a bit too. So,
yeah.
You know, like as much as I'm definitely aerobically fitter than when I started, the other thing I reckon that's helped a lot is just gassing out that many times and just going, right, I don't care who you are. It doesn't matter how fit. You can't go for 100% for 5 minutes. It's like you can't sprint for 5 minutes without stopping.
without getting tired. Exactly.
Yep. So choosing your marks. And, when you're on the bottom, not spending 2 minutes just trying to bench press a guy off for you. Just righto.
Yep.
Elbows in. Take a little bit of breath. He's got to give me some space if he's going to submit me, and that's what I'm going. Between now and then, I'm catching my breath.
Listen to you go.
Yeah. So
excellent.
and things like one of the best lessons I ever got from you was control before submission. So don't worry about submission, control.
Well, I think
if you can't control a person, you can't submit him, I think was the lesson.
Ninos said to when he came down for our last seminar with him, I think it was last visit. He mentioned something about it's not about the venom in the bite; it's about your web. Yeah. You can have a great bite, and if you can't catch it, it doesn't mean shit.
Yep.
Doesn't mean anything.
Yep. So I mean, all that sort of stuff makes a difference. But certainly early on, I was just
of
3
course.
rounds in, and then I got to sit one out. 60
I remember.
seconds ago,
I
got to sit
remember.
one out.
And now you're doing that to other people.
You get home and your geese you're wringing it out with sweat because you just
Yep.
And then now you can do 5 or 6. Not that 5 or 6 rounds is easy, but I can get through 5 or 6
Absolutely.
rounds.
Yeah, the difference for you has been huge.
Yep.
It really has.
Yep.
I remember you'd turn coach, just sitting this one out.
Yep.
Yeah, no worries.
Yep.
And and in no time at all, you're holding side control on other people, and they're, and you're like,
because I'm not a small bloke, so when I put my weight on, it's uncomfortable.
But you're also understanding when to relax.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And obviously being on top is way better than being on the bottom.
Yeah.
So once you figure a few things out, like okay, side control, they're going to try and get back to guard.
Yep.
But that's kind of all. That's
Try
all.
and get
At a white belt level, that's all anyone's really going to try and ever do.
Yep.
So that's what you look out for.
Yep.
So, just crush them.
It's funny because I've said it to you a few times. It's the guys at the gym, I rate them so highly, and just particularly the high belts. I respect them immensely. But there's nothing better than when they're rolling with me and they wince in pain. And, even if they get me in the end, I'll make them
or at least exhaustion.
I'm making them earn it.
Yeah, exactly.
Whereas early on it was just you roll with the guys, they tap you 4 or 5 times, and there's still 2 minutes left, and then they just show you something.
Yeah,
because they can.
That is, I mean, obviously that's how you learn.
But very humbling.
Which is also why you pay higher respect to higher belts, because they've been through all of it.
Yep.
They've been and done it.
Yep.
And that's why that respect is due to the high rank guys.
Yeah.
They've put in the work.
Yep.
And they deserve the respect for that.
It's one of the things I like about it too is I think it's I think our society as a whole, I think we're losing a little bit of, like that old, you got to earn your stripes.
Absolutely.
You got to earn your stripes.
It's absolutely literal in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. And there's no, I remember seeing this like bodybuilding meme, and it was like this, this ripping bloke in this tank top is bursting out, and he goes, it was something along the line. I can't remember exactly what it said, but the first part of it was about, you can make jokes about me being a meathead or whatever, but he goes, when you see a good physique, it's not inherited, it's not bought, it's not borrowed, it's earned. Yeah. And it's earned from
sometimes
hours.
Genetics play a huge part. But
Yep. Obviously steroids sometimes. But generally speaking, the principle is, when you see a big physique, like even if you're on, you're still working hard. So when you see someone with a brown belt, it's just instant respect because they don't give them out. It's not easy to get. Yeah. Pretty skillful. Yeah. So, and that's what I like about it.
Yep. When we first joined the AET, I remember I believe I had a couple of, I don't want to say, a couple of places I was kind of looking at different other clubs. Then I met
affiliate yourself with,
yes,
you mean? Yep.
Yeah, before we were affiliated, I was sort of like looking around.
Yep.
Obviously, once I met Ninos and the team, I was like, well.
I've only read him once, but he's a ripping bloke.
Yeah, he's awesome, man.
So,
but
he's got to come down again.
Yeah, he will.
After this.
Yeah, we've been talking about it. Yeah, he's going to come down. It's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Got a few surprises planned.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. It's going to be good. Can't even remember where we're heading with that once we sort of went off.
You were going to affiliate yourself with, and then you met
remember.
Ninos, and then we were talking about AET.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure where we were before that.
It was about something else.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
Yep.
I knew this was going to happen at some point.
We're not out of things to talk about, are we?
Well, my list is good, but I've got questions galore for you.
Righto, let's go.
All right. Well, I'm going to throw a few fastballs at you too as well.
Righto, yeah, cool. As long as it can get edited out.
We'll see.
Shoot.
All right.
Are any of these questions that I've come up with?
No, I don't know.
All right.
I don't really want to. I'm just going to throw some out there.
Cool.
Think some up.
Sure.
All right, submission or knockout?
Submission. More satisfying, I think.
Really?
I think so.
How so?
I'd rather look in a person's eyes while they fall asleep.
Okay.
I mean, obviously, if it's a rear naked.
When you're watching on television, what do you like to see?
Yeah, I like submissions.
Yeah.
I like someone tapping.
There's no accidental submission.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That's what's good about it.
When I see a person get knocked out, as much as I enjoy watching fighting, and I get that it's part of fighting, I just think, you've only got a few of those. It's one less,
Yeah, it takes a certain breed, man.
Some of those brutal knockouts, like
you
just can't. I'm so glad that's not.
That's why, as much as people talk shit about fighters.
So submission for me.
This guy's so glad he got fucking knocked out.
I like contests. I like watching gladiators go at it. I don't like watching people get hurt.
Yeah,
that's probably.
Yeah, I don't ever want to watch it. Even though I was talking the other day about fighting, was saying how you want to win. You don't want to go in there to hurt someone.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep.
And if it means you've given me the position where I can ground and pound you to win, well, that's what I'm going to do to win.
Yeah.
But my intention in the first place wasn't just to hurt you, so you go back home to your family. All screwed up.
So submission for me.
Submission, yeah. The other thing I was going to say,
but I get the knockout school as well. I get the people that are in the knockout school. I do get it.
Well,
and you if you step into a ring, you're accepting that that's just how it rolls. You run onto a footy field, you pop your knee, do a shoulder. You knew that running out. It's just part of the risk.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
assuming that they're not outside the rules.
I'm a huge, huge, huge boxing fan. Have been forever since I was a kid. And just this sweet science of boxing, man.
Yep.
It's so when I see a beautiful my favorite thing is counter knockouts.
Yep.
I love counter knockouts. I'm not a big fan of dudes who just come out.
So where are you at? What are your thoughts on Floyd Mayweather? If you're a huge boxing fan, I'm just curious.
Phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to like a dude's character to like what he does in the ring.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
So you don't like his character, but in the ring,
I don't agree with a lot of I mean, trash talking's always been a part of the game. People are always going to do it.
Yep.
Depends how you do it, I think. The dude's all about money.
Yep.
What can you say?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he's in. Look, you got to look at it this way.
At least he's not dishonest.
He's not fan friendly. When again, people just want to see.
Yep.
I punch you, you punch me until someone falls down. That's what the general public expect to see when they watch a fight.
Yep.
Not that many people understand what they're watching when they watch someone like Floyd.
Yep.
An absolute
I'm in that camp.
Master tactician. Just the reason there's a reason he's 50-0.
Yep.
I will say there's a couple of fights there people were questionable on the decision.
Yep.
Could have gone either way.
Anyone going 50-0, there's going to be like that.
Man,
surely.
And he fought everybody. He might not have fought them in their prime, but he also wasn't in his prime when he fought either.
Yep.
Fought them either. So you got to remember that.
Yeah. Have I ever told you I was in Vegas for
the Conor and
McGregor?
Yeah. Like when people are asking me about who's going to win that, it was just don't ask me that.
Yeah, it's
question.
Yep.
That's stupid.
Yep.
You got a dude who's, mastered these two things, right?
Yep.
His whole life.
Right? Is
You're not going to beat a guy who's only focused on using these when I'm focusing a bit on grappling, a bit on.
Floyd's never getting in the octagon, is he?
No, hell no, no. Why would he?
I know, right?
Yeah,
he would get fucked up, wouldn't he?
Well,
I mean, you know more about fighting than me, but he would get fucked up.
He would.
Sorry, we said no F-bombs.
That's all right. Yeah, of course he would.
Yep.
Yeah. So it goes two ways. I mean, I don't think there's ever going to be MMA fighters beating boxers in boxing.
Yep.
And vice versa.
Yep.
At lower levels, yeah, cool. At the highest level, never.
Yep.
No.
Yeah,
Because what it takes to get you to the top of boxing, in my opinion, is more than what it takes to get the top of MMA.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. The reason is boxing has been around a lot longer. There's a lot more people that do boxing than they do MMA.
Really? Still?
Of course.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Okay.
Every town has a boxing gym. Not every town has an MMA gym.
I would have thought that's starting to really change. But
It is, but it's still, boxing's just still bigger.
Yep.
They get paid bigger, much bigger.
Yep.
You know, there's a reason for that. But the way I see it is you can get to a certain level in MMA and not be good at something.
Yep.
Right? You can be Damien Meyer.
You can have a weakness in your game.
Of course.
Yep.
And still be very successful. Yeah. You can be really, well, could be, I'm not going to say he's not a great striker. I haven't seen him do a lot of great striking stuff, but he's definitely not, you know, up there with the best strikers.
Yep.
But his grappling is so strong. I think he gets away with a lot with his striking because everyone's fearing the grappling.
Yep.
You know, it helps it. But he is so good at this just one aspect of what he does. No one can stop it, right?
Yep.
Where one day he might come up against a dude who can stop his takedown and is a way better striker. You know, he's lucky he hasn't encountered that.
Yep.
Yet.
But it's not the same with boxing.
Not at all.
Yep.
Everyone has the same tools.
Yep.
So you got to be better
Yep.
than everyone with the same tools.
Yeah,
You know how much harder it is to do that?
Yep.
And then with the talent pool that's out there, like the culture of boxing, it's been around for hundreds of years.
Yep.
Right? So you've got all that, and all those people and generations and whatever, all the people that accept boxing. How much more accepted is boxing than MMA to the public? Cage fighting, it's human cockfighting.
Yeah.
Right? Boxing.
It's changing slowly, but
it is.
It's
but
slow.
the most elite celebrities in everyone, boxing, man. It's all about boxing. Right? Everybody wants to go to the boxing events here.
Yep.
Everyone's a boxing fan all of a sudden. Everybody in the world knows who Muhammad Ali is. Everybody in the world knows who Mike Tyson is.
Yep.
Who the hell in the world knows who Cain Velasquez?
Yep.
He's considered one of the greatest heavyweights of all time in MMA.
Yep.
Who knows Fedor Emelianenko?
Yep. Yeah, it's a good point.
So boxing is, in my opinion, way bigger. And to get to that level, to be better with those same tools that everybody else has. I mean, there's variations. Some guys are better boxers. Some guys do better footwork. Some dudes got better, power. Some guys, there is variations in the
like a
tools.
better accomplishment to reach the top of that mountain.
Man, it's harder. I mean, your striking could be way better than mine, but if I can get you down, your striking doesn't mean anything. Well, I can't do that in boxing.
Yep.
I've still got to stand in front of you until one of us,
Yep. Yeah. Makes sense.
In my opinion, my respect for boxing is massive. Like, I absolutely love boxing.
Yeah, I've heard you talk about it a lot.
Yeah, I love boxing, right? So, I do believe that, But then on the flip side, like we're saying, if Floyd went to Connor's world, he has so many tools.
Yeah.
So, it's like, an MMA guy won't beat boxers and a boxer won't beat an MMA guy in their own worlds.
Yep.
Just won't happen.
Yep. It's funny because to the layman, and I still consider myself, a layman, MMA is heaps better to watch.
Well, that's, that comes down to...
more entertaining.
That comes down to personal preference.
Yep.
Of course. There's more that's happening.
Yep.
But it's in boxing, it's the subtleties in it. It's like MMA is very loud. You can see what's happening. Except for the jiu-jitsu. Some people are like, what's going on there?
Yeah, But I mean, I watch it now and I love that. When it goes to ground's the best bit.
Deontay Wilder knocks everybody out viciously.
Yep.
Very fan-friendly boxer, but not the technical best boxer. The most technical boxers are probably not the most fun to watch.
Yep.
That's how it works. Same with jiu-jitsu and a gi. You ever watched the gi jiu-jitsu tournament?
It's not as exciting to watch.
It's really not.
Heaps more fun. Fun.
It's fun to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, not fun to watch.
I much prefer gi.
It's just that way.
Yep.
I see cricket the same way.
It's gi's a bit more. Would you say gi's more technical?
Yeah.
Because no gi's slippery and faster.
Yeah.
That's probably why I like it more.
I
haven't done
like inches on the grip can make a big difference.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. And you've always got something to grab onto, so you just seem to have more options.
Well, you have to be technical to escape things.
Yep.
You have to be more technical and, understand jiu-jitsu a lot more. Whereas no-gi jiu-jitsu can be more incorporated with wrestling.
Yep.
So it's like a hybrid version of jiu-jitsu, really.
Yep.
I like to call it submission grappling more than no-gi jiu-jitsu. Because in my opinion, jiu-jitsu is done in the gi. It was designed in the gi. That's what's up.
Yep.
That's just what I think. But no-gi grappling is what I like to call it.
Yep.
Yeah.
What do you prefer?
I'm all about no-gi.
Yeah.
Always have been, man. Only because
It's funny because you've said that a few times, yet the gi classes are more popular.
yeah, absolutely they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not too sure why. I mean, because James is a fantastic coach. That could have a lot to do with it too.
Yeah.
You know,
Great bloke. Shout out.
the way I teach is a little bit different. I'm not such a beginner-friendly coach, and I mean that by like, I kind of but have guys in my class that already know what they're doing.
Yep.
It just seems to be the guys who show up to my class.
Yep.
You know, and no-gi, there is I'm more of a no-gi guy. I mean, a lot of people think it's just because there's a big no-gi movement in jiu-jitsu recently and leg locks and stuff. It's got nothing to do with that. I come from MMA to jiu-jitsu. I'm not a jiu-jitsu guy that got into MMA,
Right. Okay.
which is usually the case. Usually you go from a traditional martial art and go, I'm going to incorporate that into MMA. I didn't do that. I went the other way.
Yep.
Like I was a big boxing fan forever, and then I seen a Bas Rutten instructional DVD, and that changed everything.
Yep.
Everything I seen him do, I was like, that makes so much sense. You know what I mean? Everything. I was just like, that makes so much sense. And then I learned more about jiu-jitsu, and I guess I just thought, well, you don't fight wearing the gi. You know?
That's where the popularity of no-gi is coming from, isn't it? Because it transitions to MMA, like as in
it's not just an MMA
UFC.
thing. It's not just an MMA thing. There's a lot of no-gi guys that will never fight MMA.
Yep.
Yeah. Most of them. Yeah. It's just faster. It's different. It's, you know, I don't know. Everyone has their own reasons, I guess.
Yep.
I think that's actually the thing for me that makes it hard is the fact that it's faster and I'm getting older. You don't see many older guys advocating no-gi jiu-jitsu.
Yep. Makes sense.
Right. So for me, I understand why, because it's so much faster and rolling with like you guys, or not you specifically, but like Seth, who's like 8, 19, 20.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
The younger guys is what I was going to say.
Last time I rolled
Rowan and those boys.
last time I rolled no-gi was with Charlie, and
there you go.
couldn't grab hold of him.
There you
He
go.
was just
Yep.
so.
But that's what's really cool is I come from more of a no-gi background, and then you got James and Cam who are very traditionally gi, and we can just you show me, I'll show you, and it's awesome.
Yep.
It's really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly think the way I grapple for MMA is even better than my no-gi jiu-jitsu. I just because that's what I did first.
Yep.
You know, so I love watching Khabib grapple. So I'm like, that's my shit.
Yep.
I love it. You know,
Yeah.
it. So yeah, each to their own, man. I do love the gi though. Don't get me wrong. I'm trying to get better and better in it. I'm really trying to.
Yep.
I need to spend more time with Ninos. It's that simple.
Yep.
I just have to. And just the guys at the AET headquarters are all wizards.
Yep.
You know, so that might be my plan when we get back. Get a bit more gi savvy.
Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to get back.
I know, man.
When was the last time we rolled? Was it March?
Oh, I hardly rolled this year because we had so many competitions coming up. I was coaching.
And you were organising that fundraiser for the bushfire.
So many things. I had a MMA tournament organised for Lilydale in Melbourne. I had a no-gi sub-only jiu-jitsu tournament organised for Melbourne that were all happening, getting participants, everything. They had the boxing, kickboxing event here and training those, 0 to hero boxes as well. That kept me really busy. So I didn't really have much time to roll this year.
Yep.
Yeah, I haven't really rolled much.
When did the gym close? Refresh my memory.
Start of March.
Start of March.
Yeah, because we were planning our event. Hang on.
Yeah.
There it is, the tickets, printed and all. 19th of April, day before my birthday.
Yep.
So...
I think I was going to be on the door from memory. What was I going to be doing?
Yeah, I think you were going to help
No,
out.
I think I was going to MC it. 'Cause I got a big,
Oh, no, we ended up getting a guy.
Right, okay.
Yeah. I don't know, anyway.
Would have been a cracking event.
We will do
You
it.
should keep those.
Yeah, that's why I've still got them. I can't bring it to myself to throw me.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. But
yeah, it's funny.
well, I'd like to do an
20
MMA
years
event.
time, like that's.
I'd like to do an MMA event in Bairnsdale in the Cage. That's the plan.
That'd be cool.
That's what I want.
Will they give you permits? Will they let you?
Of course, why not?
Okay.
It's just a sports event.
I just remember when they did the first UFC and there was all that sort of outcry.
That was 100 years ago.
Right, okay. That was Ronda, wasn't it?
What?
The first time the UFC came to Melbourne, wasn't it?
To Melbourne, yes.
That was highly
Melbourne, yeah. The first time UFC came to Australia was Sydney, and it was freaking incredible.
Yep.
The lineup they had Pride fighters.
Yep.
Who were like, we'll get into that. Yeah, they were just the lineup was amazing.
Yep.
Every fight was like, oh, this dude's awesome. This dude's awesome. This dude's awesome.
That'd be cool. Have an event.
Yeah,
because I'd like to. Yeah, and we've spoken about
that's
too. Like
see,
I'd
this
like
is
to
why
go to more fights and even compete a bit, but just too time poor at the moment. Just can't commit. But in years to come, I probably will.
Yeah,
assuming there's like
I
masters.
was going to ask you about
what
that.
do they call
also,
them? Vets, masters? I don't know. What do they call them? I don't want to be going up against
masters, bro.
I don't want to be going up
It
against.
makes you sound cool.
Yeah, I don't want to be going up against 20-year-olds.
No, you won't anyway.
Yeah.
No.
So
yeah, you won't anyway.
Yeah.
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 Sound.
Bit of a roll and then some beers.
But it really
afterwards.
just means you're old.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, we will have a cage event down here eventually. The deal is once they made MMA, like I guess legal in Victoria.
Yep.
And they once they made it was always legal. They just didn't make the cage legal, right?
Oh.
So once they made the cage legal, they said you're not allowed to do it in the ring anymore, which screwed up a lot of things.
Yeah, because a lot of people wouldn't have had cages.
Exactly.
And I take it they're not cheap to.
No. So that sucks.
Yep.
So we kind of got what we asked for, but it kind of bit us in the ass.
Yep.
Kind of sucks. So yeah, I've got to organise all that stuff and down the road.
Yep. So you're gonna get a cage, as in like sort of borrow a cage and just get it down and
We'll
set
see
it up,
how it all
or-
unfolds. You know, yeah, a lot of possibilities.
Yep.
We'll see.
That'd be
Yeah,
cool.
got a bunch of ideas and
Some pretty formidable guys down here that seem to go very well when they go back to Melbourne. Like we seem to
man,
train to a good standard, and we seem to hold up against
it's funny you
against
say
equal
that.
opposition. You know, like
It is, yeah. I mean, as the coach, man, I don't even know what to say.
Yep.
Like, I obviously just try and do what I feel is what everyone needs to work on.
Yep.
You know, like, the problem with being down here is we do miss out on a lot of cutting edge technique.
Yep.
That the guys, everyone in Melbourne or wherever is doing. But I'm working on something for that as well. But
give me an example of something we miss out on when you say cutting edge technique.
well, I mean, it might be like a sweep that we're doing, but in Melbourne, like, you know, amongst other gyms, they want to figure out a more efficient way to do it.
Right. Okay.
And we just, unless we're there, we don't know.
So sort of out of the loop a little bit because
Exactly.
we're so far away.
Exactly. Yep. There's pros and cons to that, I think. Obviously, the cons are very obvious. We're not training under like Ninos and,
Yep.
you know, absolute bosses like that. So
But when we start
sucks.
drilling stuff,
But-
they don't know what we're doing.
there's that. And I kind of have my own plan.
Right. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm not sort of in a strict syllabus that doesn't allow me to go, you know what, we should learn this.
Obviously.
For example,
And some of the bigger gyms obviously have that. Is that
most.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's
For
not just
example,
kind of,
the-
what do you want to work on today?
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Whereas
I
bigger
could
gyms you don't get
put
that.
your hands up. Well, the fact that, I mean, if we were a bigger gym, like we had like 100 students, that wouldn't be the case anymore.
Yeah.
You just can't do that.
Yeah.
You know, but because we're that's what I mean with my class, it's so like it's like the Danaher Death Squad. There's only a selected few that sort of stick around in my class, and those guys.
Yep.
Yep. So, it's good that way.
Yep.
I think it's good that way. I like it like that.
Yep.
I do. Yeah, I can really focus in on everybody's game that way, and individually.
Yep.
You know, and I like that.
Yeah. So the thing for me is I haven't experienced another gym. So it's not like, even though I lived in Melbourne, it's not like I've been to one of these gyms with, you know, hundreds
I'm not
of
saying
students.
this is the way with all gyms, but I don't think it makes sense that the bigger it gets, the less personal it gets.
Of course. Yep.
Right. So
Just out of like the bigger gyms, are you still getting the same instructor to student kind of ratio that we're getting? So sort
no,
of
that's
one
what I'm
instructor
saying.
to say 10?
No.
Right, okay.
You're going to have a lot more higher ranked dudes that can help, for sure. But there's always like, you know, your instructor for the class.
Yep.
And that person's going to get around to most people best they can. And like I was saying, the bigger the class is, the less time they're going to be able to spend.
Yeah, of
it's like
course.
going to seminars. You know, you go to a seminar and the dude that you hanging to train with, you know, like Eddie Bravo, trained with him a few times. He'd come around occasionally and just sort of have a look and go, yep. That's kind of what you're going to get in a big class.
Yep.
Whereas I'm always on your ass.
Yep.
You know, so, yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, cool.
And some people don't like that, but it is what it is.
Yep.
And I like to be a hands-on coach.
Yep.
And
yeah.
I always said from day one, I didn't want everyone to roll the same for my gym. I don't want our style to be recognizable at all.
And you got to roll to your size a bit too, don't you?
You've got to roll
little guys
and
roll.
you've got to roll to your size, your personality,
Yep.
everything. There's a lot of things that I think come into play. If it's an art, martial art.
Yep.
Right. So you've got to turn it into art. Yes, you have to learn fundamentals and things that you cannot do.
Yep.
And obviously that has to happen. But that's what I mean. By the time they get to my class, they know all that.
Yep.
So I can start to make them shine.
Yep.
And I love it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like doing it that way.
Yep.
It's good. It's personal.
Hit me
A
with
little bit.
another question.
Hit you with another question.
What else do you want to know?
I was sort of working.
I'm curious
towards
as to the question because we were talking earlier in the week and you're like, oh, there's all this stuff I want to know about you. And I'm like, we've talked a lot. What is it that you don't know? So I'm
We're
curious.
almost hit an hour.
Really?
It's 55 minutes, brother.
Wow. That's gone quick.
So we don't have time for
Right,
the other
okay.
stuff. But we've got more podcasts to do.
Yeah, we'll save it for next time.
I've got so much to talk about, dude.
Yeah, man.
So much to talk about.
Yeah, man.
What is your favorite submission?
Probably at the moment. So I'm still obviously learning. I love key locks.
Even to do or to watch?
I love key locks because I've been working on them
okay.
a bit and I like getting them to work because I tried for ages. And
Nasty submission.
never got them to work and I've stuck a few lately.
You probably won't hit a lot of those on higher ranked dudes.
No.
Just letting you know.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I got, you sort of feign for the arm bar and then they loosen it up and then bang.
Mm.
And once it's pinned to the ground and you sneak your hand under it and they know it's coming, but they're.
That's the most beautiful thing about
Yep.
jiu-jitsu
And then-
is when they know it's coming.
So you pin the wrist down and you start sneaking the other one in, your other hand, you just,
Yep.
you crawl your hand on the mat and then just like, they know it's coming. And then sometimes I just tap it right there.
Yeah.
But I've pulled off a couple.
I've got some really cool ones to show you then.
Yep.
Really nasty ones.
Favorite one to watch? I like them all. There's nothing more beautiful than a rear naked choke. Now, but you don't see a lot of them because, a lot of time, you see some.
Yeah, depends. In MMA, you probably don't see as. Oh, no, you still see a lot.
Yep. So.
Depends who you're watching.
Yep. And probably, I like Kimuras and Americanas.
Yeah, you like twisting those arms.
Yeah,
around.
only because I was watching, something came up on my Facebook and it was like a special forces guy. And
So Americana's like a key lock.
right, sorry, Kimura.
Yeah.
So, this is where I'm still new in the journey, and
it's all
I still
good.
make
I got your
mistakes,
back,
but-
brother.
No, it's all good. It's learning. It's all learning.
Yeah.
So it was one of the special forces guys, and like the sheepdog and that sort of stuff, where they're talking about jiu-jitsu and the special forces community and how it interacts with weapons and all that sort of stuff. And he was basically talking about how he actually pulled it off on a bloke and broke his jaw on the way down, but popped shoulder, elbow, wrist, all in the one.
Ooh.
On a bad guy.
Nasty.
Somewhere in the Middle East or something, I don't know. But he was talking about pulling one off, and I was like, that is a serious. That's how long to recover from that. It's awful. It's awful.
It's so bad, man.
And then obviously you're in a situation where you're looking to hurt the person, not to get a submission. So they're not tapping, you're just breaking their arm.
Yeah, that's a different thing.
And I kind of went, wow, that's pretty.
That's
cool.
a whole different thing, man. People used to ask me all the time when they found, what jiu-jitsu was and what I do and stuff. If you were in a street fight, would you break that arm? Yes, I would.
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
Yeah, it's about how much you think that person is a threat to you and what you need to do to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know you. You wouldn't hurt someone unnecessarily.
No, of course not. But if somebody's trying to put harm on me,
Yep. Or your
I'm
missus
doing whatever
or
I got to do.
someone you care about.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Um,
And the other thing is, too, I think people don't know the answer to that question until they're in the situation.
Definitely. Yep.
Because emotion and things play, adrenaline and stuff play a lot into decision making.
The thing with adrenaline too is you become very obviously in my job I've been in a few situations and tunnel vision is huge, and you can't see peripheral.
Yeah.
It's just get there. And so I think a lot of people would probably do it, but not realise until afterwards. It would just happen quickly.
What's your jiu-jitsu goals, my friend?
So as far as goal setting, I guess I've probably got short, medium, and long-term goals. So short-term goals, another stripe on the belt. So white belt with 2 stripes. I'm just Short term, just working towards that next stride.
Yep.
We were talking about this the other night, actually. I guess, and then obviously being a white belt, I just want to get to blue. You know, just I think there's a big difference between. I mean, I don't know what the percentage of people that quit are white belts, but
The most.
I remember walking in the door and there's a whole lot of new faces and there's only a handful that are still the same, and it's probably going to be the same in 2 years' time.
Absolutely.
So the guys that have got blue belts have obviously stuck with it. So I'd love to get a blue.
Funny thing about that, real quick, blue belts are notorious for quitting jiu-jitsu.
Right.
Like
Okay.
once they get their blue done. But that being said, the most people that quit are white belts because they're people that walk in, try it, and don't want to do it.
Yep.
So statistically speaking, white belts quit the most.
Yep.
But once people have coloured belts, blue are the number one quitters.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me. But yeah. So
We'll talk about that another day.
yeah. And we talk about how humbling it is, and so people quit early rather than just go through
All
that
sorts of
humbling
reasons people
experience,
quit, man.
Right. You
All
gotta sort of
sorts of
walk in with that mindset, like, you know.
Yeah, that's a huge part.
I remember Jacob tapped me, and he weighs half as much as me.
Yeah.
And he was 17 years old at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and he was just good. He was better.
He also went down and qualified the adults as a juvenile
Yep.
at headquarters.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was a bit of a freak.
Yeah, freak. But
Yeah.
And the other thing too, you take out striking. You know, a guy my size, if I can't punch her, and obviously jiu-jitsu leans itself to leaving yourself open to punch. If you can't punch him, then it's just about technique and.
Well, if jiu-jitsu done correctly,
arm just comes around the neck.
jiu-jitsu done correctly, you're not open to punches.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a huge part of it.
Yeah, I'm probably not at that doing it correctly yet.
Well, it's just self-defense jiu-jitsu.
So, and then obviously the long-term goal is Al Bundy. I can't remember the guy's name, but got a black belt under the Gracies.
Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill.
Yep.
16 years, got his black belt.
Yeah, you heard his story about it?
Well into his 50s.
What he was saying about, every day, the amount of times he'd be on the way to the gym trying to think of a reason not to go.
Yep.
And just by the time he thought of something, he was there and you're like, all right, go inside. That's what it takes.
I saw the interview where he was talking about his first day, where he was like 250 pounds. He played like NFL to a high level at college or whatever. And one of the Gracie guys was like, I'll tell you what, you just hold me down for 30 seconds. He's like, 250 pounds.
They always do that, man, yeah.
And then he goes, I'll tell you what, you try and get up, and then it just held me down. And then he was like, wow, this is
It's so good.
So I guess long term, deep into my 50s, I'd love to get a black belt. Deep into my 50s, having committed, just commit myself for 15 years and,
My advice there is just enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
I've had people come in, I'm not even kidding, people come into the gym and say, how long does it take to get a black belt? Straight off the bat.
Yep.
I'm like, well, you're probably never going to get one if you have that mentality.
Yep.
It's just never going to work because you're going to be waiting and waiting. Jiu-jitsu takes a long time to get your black belt.
Yep.
So,
and I think once my kids get a little bit older and I can leave them a little bit unsupervised, I'll be able to train regularly 3 nights a week, and that'll make a difference. That'll speed it up.
And then when they're old enough, they can come and train with you.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
So that, and they've got to find it on their own. Like, I'm not going to.
Of course.
You can't push on
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
hoping they do.
Hopefully they get inspired and.
So. It's funny because they're 9 and 7 for those that don't know, and it's just funny because every time they sort of cut themselves or something like that, they're like, oh, Dad, I need a Band-Aid in the jiu-jitsu bag, and they just go straight to the jiu-jitsu bag because that's where the Band-Aids and all the tape and all that sort of stuff for the fingers and stuff.
That's
they're
awesome.
not with the Panadol. They're in Dad's jiu-jitsu bag, and there's a spot for it in the house, and they just go straight to that.
Do you have goals to compete?
Not at the moment, but I'd like to dip my toe in the water at competing at some stage. But if I do it, I'm going to commit to it. I'm not going to do it by halves. And so
I wouldn't let you compete otherwise.
Yep. So at the moment, my little man's in grade 1, not until he's in high school.
Okay.
So probably 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
So, and then I'd commit to 1 or 2 tournaments, see if I liked it, see how I went.
Yeah, of course.
Which, based on what you've told me, I probably will enjoy it, and then I'll probably start competing.
I think you'll love it. Yeah. I think you'll love it, man. I really do.
Yeah, as long as the culture's same, as long as I find the same culture at tournaments, I'm happy to get on the mats and roll with a dude, but afterwards I want to be able to shake his hand and have a beer.
Jiu-jitsu's pretty well known for having an amazing culture.
Yep.
But you're always going to get douchebag.
Yeah.
In anything you do.
Yep.
There's always going to be something. We've come up against some real douchebags, man.
Yep.
We are, being the small country, ugly cousins,
Yep.
we're always trying to be just like super thankful for being there and all that sort of stuff. So we're always like just, really.
Yep.
And some people just.
Yeah. And the tyranny of distance kills us a bit down here. Like, it's a big day going to Melbourne to compete.
It's massive, yeah. But we're just so thankful to be a part of it. But going back to what you said earlier about being able to compete with those people down there with phenomenal gyms and man, my students have constantly blown me away. Like the amount of my students show up game day and do things that I'm like, why don't you do that in the gym? Like honestly, man, that happens so often, and I love it. I'm Evie.
Yep.
You know, she did that Renegade tournament. She'd been off most of the year with an injury, and then came back, trained a couple months, went and did that, and no one in competition yet has taken her down.
Yep.
We only just realized that the other day. We're like, yeah, wow.
Yep.
She won her first match 27-0, second match 22-0.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's a lot of points.
Like her control, taking the back, this, that. I'm just like, I don't even see this at the gym.
Yep.
You know? And then Seth's always the notorious one.
Yep.
I mean, unless he, like in comp class, he goes crazy hard. He does cut corners. He's pretty slack sometimes.
I must admit.
That being said, he outworks everybody still.
When I saw him in a comp class,
Dude,
I was blown
he
away.
outworks
I didn't
everybody.
realise he had that work ethic, but he's got a switch.
That's what I'm saying. Exactly.
He's got a switch.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. A lot of people don't realise he has that work ethic.
Yep.
And he absolutely does, man. When he wants it, he
Yep.
goes hard. So, yeah, man. Him game day, he's definitely the guy. I first seen that happen in Lilydale when he just, man, it was like, huh? Like, I think there's his second boxing match, the way he looked in that, there's video footage of all of us on the edge of the ring, you know, the guys that are coaching him. And you can see us.
Yeah.
We were just going, what's going on?
Yeah.
It was amazing. You know,
That doesn't surprise me.
Rowan, another one.
Yep.
Triangles everybody in competition. Like,
yep.
The amount of comps he's been in, he's triangled more people than not.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like,
he loves it.
he does.
But you're big on triangles, and he's
almost got the same build.
Yep.
So my jiu-jitsu translates really well to him.
Very dexterous, very flexible.
Yes. And he's an MMA guy. He likes no gi.
Yep.
All that stuff. So I think we've got a lot in common when it comes to what kind of jiu-jitsu we like.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, he's gonna directly learn a lot of stuff that way from the way what I do, and he'll translate it that way. Seth's just too big to do a lot of the stuff I do.
Yep.
Now he used to do it all when he was younger and a lot smaller.
Yep.
He was doing a lot of rubber guard, a lot of because like I'm still doing like Williams guard and things like that. I'm not sure if you realize what the Williams guard is, but it's all very high guard stuff.
Yep. It's hard to get out of. Like when Rowan gets his legs, like when I'm rolling with him, when they're up around shoulder blades, it's hard to pass, hard to get out. He's good. He's got a good guard.
Yeah, he does.
So
he's got a dangerous
He
guard.
caught me in a lot of triangles when I started.
Yeah.
A lot of triangles.
I think I remember last time I rolled with him actually. Afterwards, he was like, I haven't seen that kind of trouble for a while. Yeah. That was good.
Yeah.
And it felt great to be able to,
But it's good. You got to get caught in a few, then you see them
Absolutely,
coming.
yeah.
Now I can see them coming.
Look, you've got to get your ass kicked in jiu-jitsu gym.
Yeah.
And boxing, anything. Any combat sport, if you're getting your ass kicked in the gym, your fight will be easy.
Yep.
But, so Jacob's another guy. When he fought in Lilydale, his Muay Thai match, he just beat the shit out of the dude.
Yep.
I was blown away. Absolutely blown away.
You recorded that, didn't you?
Yeah.
I've seen
it. Every time he's competed in jiu-jitsu, blew me away.
Yep.
Same thing, when our 4 guys went down to headquarters to qualify to represent AET and Pan Packs,
yep,
our 4 guys qualified.
Yep.
When that happened, I was like, okay. And then, coaching against other guys I respect incredibly down at like Grappling Industries and stuff, and, coaching, it's almost like, am I really doing this?
Yep.
And sitting across from this coach, like, ugh,
yep,
very nerve-wracking stuff. And we won some of those guys too. And I was just like, what is going on?
Yep.
So that, my guys have given me a lot more confidence going back to as far as like you were saying, we do pretty well.
Yeah.
From
we punch
being
above
isolated and all
punch
that sort of
above our
stuff.
weight, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. We're doing well so far.
Yep.
I'll say that much.
Yep.
Yeah, we've got, a good share of gold medals and other medals, and it speaks for itself.
Yeah.
So
look, I'll definitely compete at some stage, but probably not for a couple of years. It's just on the back burner. So
it'll be good.
my kids would hurry up and grow up, I'd do it. But
Yeah, hurry up.
Yeah. So,
is there anything else that you want to bring up before we call it a day, man? This has been fun.
The only thing I guess one thing I wanted to ask you about competing, right? That's one thing I've always wondered about fighting.
Okay.
Is if we take out jiu-jitsu because there's no striking, so let's talk MMA boxing. How is it that a person that is like someone like yourself or Seth or, you know, these guys, they're good character, good people that wouldn't necessarily hurt someone unless they absolutely had to.
Yeah.
How do you find that aggression to just go and punch some dude?
It's a game.
Like you know,
It's a
like
game.
when we talk about competing, like if I think that if I ever got to the point where I was in a position to compete at MMA in some kind of Masters tournament or whatever the case may be.
Yep.
I don't know that I'm just going to.
Be able to punch a dude in the face on the ground?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just.
Well,
like, you know, the dude leaves himself open and he's right there and I know I'm going to break his jaw and I know I'm going to knock him out, whatever the case may be. I don't, unless I hate the dude, which if I've never met him.
okay, so that's the one thing you got to separate is emotion.
Yeah.
Number one, you don't ever fight with emotion for a lot of reasons. I think if you're fighting with emotion, go get in a street fight because that's what they are.
Yeah.
That's all they are. You're not talented, skillful.
Yep.
You know, when you fight with emotion, you're going to gas yourself. You're going to breathe. You're going to hold your breath, and you're going to tense up, and you're going to not think clearly. And you know, how many people do you make dumb decisions out of emotion?
Yeah.
Right.
I guess.
So you learn to detach that completely, and I look at things as a game. That's how most of my students look at things. They look at it like, I'm just going to figure out this puzzle, and I'm going to win. It's not about hurting people. If I can go in there and outbox somebody, not really hurt them, and take them down, submit them, perfect.
But I've watched that many I've watched that many UFC fights where you see.
But you have to understand this too. The UFC is a whole different level.
Yep.
If you've made it to the UFC, you're the kind of guy that can do that.
Exactly. Yeah. No, and I get that.
Yeah. Not everyone can do that, man.
I don't think I'm not sure that I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know that I've got that. I mean, even if
Jacob again is one of the nicest people ever. You know,
and kind of quiet.
Very quiet and just super polite and just super nice guy. And he is a freaking animal when it comes to competing.
Yep.
Like, man, you know, the whole different side of him I never thought existed. You know, you need to make it a game. You need to make it a contest and just a competition.
Yeah.
And think, like, how many fights do you see where guys are punching each other and they high five each other?
Yep.
You know, well, a dude hurts a dude, drops him, knocks him out, and then goes over and makes sure he's okay.
That's the whole point. And
That's
know
right.
they're good guys.
That's
You
right.
know
It's not, you're there to win your fight and get paid.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's the other side of it is if this guy beats me, I'm going to feed my kids. You put that in the back of your head, I guarantee you're going to punch somebody.
Yeah, maybe.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's just interesting. It's just
No,
something
it
I've
is.
always sort of wondered about. You know,
Yeah.
finding that, you know,
That
and you
balance.
watch someone like Mike Tyson's early fights,
There is something.
and you realise that he's actually a pretty humble, very
Awesome
soft-spoken
dude,
sort of
yeah.
bloke. You know, you listen to some of the stuff that, you know, particularly recently in his life,
Yeah.
and then you see him when like getting in the ring, and he's an animal,
Yeah.
dangerous.
I'll guide you towards a documentary where he takes you through his head every step coming into the ring, how it changes from a normal guy.
Yeah, I'd watch it.
It's brilliant.
Yep.
It's really cool.
Yep.
And it gives you a perfect insight.
Yep.
And a lot of what you're talking about comes from repetitive training. So what I mean by that is you don't think. You
Yep.
just do. Right?
Yep.
You're not going to
Yeah.
think about all that, what you just said. Oh, I'm not going to hit this guy while he's up. You don't think about that.
Yep.
You don't have the time to think about
Yep.
that. You just react. And that's what training is.
Yeah, yeah,
So it doesn't become an emotional decision process at all.
yeah.
It
Mate.
just becomes go.
When you say it like that, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's just something I've always sort of.
Yeah,
So,
hopefully I answered
you know,
the
when we
question.
talk about competing, it's just I always just wonder how I go when they, you know, you just the first time and then ding ding, and then
I'll
you
tell you
start
one
walking out of
thing.
the ring, and I'm like, oh, I'm just not that angry.
I'll tell you one thing. There's also fighters
But the
like
cool,
Forrest Griffin
Yep.
who didn't up a gear until they got hit. Now, I promise you,
yeah, maybe, yeah,
some guy dings you one and you know you're there to do that.
Yep.
Oh, let's go.
yeah, you're probably right. And that's probably, you know, the cool thing about jiu-jitsu is you can get someone to the point where you're going to break their arm,
And let go. And then just keep going.
and then you're back to 100%. No
brilliant.
soreness, no injury.
Yeah.
You just reset, choke, reset, tap, reset.
It's
tap,
good, isn't
reset.
it?
Yeah, that's
And the reality is the reason they're tapping is because they can't do anything about it.
Yep.
So you literally could have broken that arm. You could have choked them unconscious, whatever you wanted to do.
Yep.
And that's why they're tapping.
Yep.
It's not like you're doing it gently, unrealistically.
Yep.
It's just such a weird situation to end up in a life-threatening position.
Yep.
They tap and you're like going, okay, let's do it again.
It's good.
It is crazy.
It's
yeah,
good.
It's very weird.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm really enjoying it. So
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
how long have we been going for? Do we
Dude,
need to wrap
we've
it up?
gone over an hour,
Righto.
quarter.
I'll have to come back for another one because
Yeah,
this
plenty,
has been,
man,
It's
plenty.
been really good. I was a bit
We'll have
nervous
heaps.
coming in, but time's gone quick.
Yeah.
Time's gone quick.
Yeah. Plenty to talk about, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Thanks
I
for
really
coming,
appreciate
bro.
it.
Appreciate it, man.
All good.
Next time.